really need to give it a rest already, you old hag. I mean, really, just what the heck is up with that meal you made for us today? Or should I say reheated for us, since all you did was take out some leftovers, throw them in the microwave, and then serve them to us for dinner. Do you think that we're dogs or something? Do you think you can just feed us slop and that we won't notice what you're doing? What in the world are you talking about? Are you really calling what I served you for dinner slop? Of course it is. I thought I told you that I was going to be having friends coming over tonight, didn't I? I told you so that you could prepare for everything and make sure to start cooking us something amazing in the afternoon so it would be ready by evening. But instead, you just threw together whatever you felt like and then threw it on a plate for my friends and I. Why would you do that? Can you really not cook one nice meal for people? I don't know what you're even talking about at all. I made what I thought you would like, and I'll have you know that I worked very hard on it. You mean that you weren't just serving us leftovers? You actually made that today? And that's the best you could do? Even if I grant that you actually did try, who in the world would ever want to eat what you put in front of us? I mean, really, when you brought up that platter, I just felt my appetite leave me right away. I don't think that you're being fair at all right now. Anyways, that's why I just took the food that you made for my friends and I dumped it all into the garbage. Then we all just ordered takeout for ourselves instead. But don't worry, I made sure to use your credit card when we ordered the food, since it was your mistake in the first place. Are you kidding me? Did you really do all of that? What is the matter with you, Lisa? I don't really have time to keep up this conversation anymore. I have to go and drop off my friends, so I'll be going now. As for you, you better get back home while I'm out and make sure that it's spotless before I get back. Do you understand me? But you were the one that kicked me out of the house because your friends were coming over in the first place. And then you asked me to cook for you, and you just threw away all the food that I made? And now you order me to come back and clean up the mess that you and your friends made. I'm sorry, but I don't think you're being fair to me at all right now. I mean, just who do you think I am? Who do I think you are? I think you're the maid that lives in our house, of course. I mean, that is what you are, you know. You moved in here just to be my personal maid. Excuse me? Do you have any idea who you're talking to? I can't believe that you're saying all of this. Anyways, can you just make sure that the house is clean as it was before my friends came over? And while you're at it, go ahead and make something for me to eat when I get back. But this time, try actually putting some effort into what you're doing, okay?
Tom, are you there? I need you to answer me right now, because I am seriously at my limit. Do you understand me?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. What is all of this about all of a sudden? Don't tell me that you got into another fight with Lisa.
She is just horrible. I mean, I don't even know if you could call it a fight at this point. Did you know that she asked me to cook for her and her friends only to call my food disgusting and throw it all away? Not only that, but then she demanded that I leave the house while her friends were over. And then on top of that, she demanded that I clean up after them all while calling me things like her maid. Do you have any idea how humiliating it is to be talked to by a child like that? It's just awful.
Oh, I see. Well, if that's all that happened, it sounds to me like you might need to work on your cooking skills a little then, right? I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with putting in a little more effort to try and impress your stepdaughter, you know? Besides, you are, after all, just a housewife, right? So it's not like you don't have plenty of time, that you're just at home alone. I think the least you can do is listen to what my daughter has to say to you and try to take those critiques as coming from a genuine place so that you can learn what you need to improve on. Then, when you start to do your job around the house in a fashion that suits you, Lisa, she might start to change her attitude towards you.
Do you have any idea just how hard I work to keep this house in running order every single day? I get up before everyone else to cook breakfast, and I'm always the last one going to bed as well.
Well, that just means that you're not at the level where you can do your job without taking up too much time. But I know there are plenty of wives way better and more efficient than you are. I mean, I'm not saying that as a dig against you, just that you shouldn't be so full of yourself, and maybe it's important to remind yourself that there are always more for you to learn. Is it really so bad to admit that maybe some of what Lisa has to say might be coming from a good place?
You do realize that I do so much more than just clean the house and do the cooking around here, right? I mean, you do realize that my meals are handmade, right? I make everything from scratch for you two. And the cleaning isn't just passing a vacuum over the floor once a week. I make sure to dust almost every day, and I'm constantly cleaning up after you two as well.
Sure, but are you telling me that you're not satisfied with your life already? I mean, you do realize that it's a mother's duty to make sacrifices for her husband and daughter, right?
Are you kidding me right now? You didn't just actually send that to me, did you? Are you even reading what I'm sending you?
I really can't deal with you when you get like this, you know? I mean, why can't you just keep the house clean and stop all your complaining? I really don't understand why you're being so ungrateful. I work hard every day to provide for us, and you don't see me complaining.
Well then, how about I go and find a job? What do you think about that? Because if you think that I want to just be a housewife, then you're wrong.
Wait, what? What in the world are you talking about? Are you telling me that you really think that you actually want to go out and work a real job?
I am just reminding you that the only reason I am not working is because you asked me to quit my job and become a full-time housewife. It was never something that I wanted to do, but because Lisa was just in the first grade, I wanted to try and be flexible and give it a shot. So I quit my job so that I could be at home and spend time with you and your daughter, all because I thought it would make the marriage go smoother. But now it's been years, and I have been thanklessly working as a housewife for you both, and most days it just feels like I'm your maid. So you can go on all about how much you think you provide for us, but think about what your life would be like if I wasn't doing this for you as well.
Okay, look, I'm sure that you came up with all kind of excuses in your head for how you got here, but at the end of the day, you're the one who chose to be a housewife, remember? And if anything, I think you should count yourself lucky to have someone who wants to provide for you like I do. I give you a really nice life.
Oh, really? Because it doesn't really seem that way from where I'm standing right now. In fact, I would much rather have the chance to get out of the house more and get back into an office. So if you really think that I have it easy, then please allow me to ease your burden while I go out and look for a job. Because Lisa is already in high school now, and I just really don't understand why I should be at home all the time.
Oh, come on. You can't really be serious about this, right? You're telling me that you want to trade a life of a housewife just to go back to work?
That's exactly what I'm saying. In fact, I think you should also know that I've found a place where I want to work at. And I'm going out to find a job, and then you and I are going to split the work around the house. And then maybe you'll understand just how much effort really goes into keeping the house running well.
You have got to be kidding me with this right now. I mean, really, why in the world would you want to make me do work around the house? And if you think that I'm just going to let you find another job, then you have got another thing coming. Do you have any idea how embarrassing that would be for me?
What in the world are you even talking about? How would me going out and getting a job be embarrassing for you?
Well, because if you're a housewife who just now getting a job, then everyone is going to know something is up with us. And I just don't want people getting the wrong idea about what's going on and just jumping to conclusions.
I really don't think that anyone would care at all if I went out and found a job. I mean, I stayed at home until your daughter was old enough to take care of her own, and now I'm going back out to work again. It seems pretty logical to me.
Shut up. You don't know what you're talking about at all. And anyways, it just won't work at all. So why don't you just drop it, okay? Besides, even if you go out and find a job, I doubt that you could find one that would earn half as much as I do. So if you think that you can make me do housework when you're barely earning, well, then you're out of your mind.
You really think that I just can't be anything more than a housewife, don't you? Well, if that's the case, then I'm sorry, but I think I really am at my limit with you. If you aren't going to support me in getting a job, then I'm leaving this house.
Are you kidding me? Is that supposed to be some kind of joke or something? You can't just leave the house.
I'm going to leave the house, and I'm never ever going to come back. So there. And if you don't want this to happen, all you have to do is let me work and do some more work around the house.
You really think that I'm just going to let you blackmail me like this? Well, it's not going to work on me. So if that's what you really want, then just leave. Like you said, Lisa's already old enough to take care of herself, so she doesn't even need a mother around anymore. And you think we're going to struggle if you leave us? Do you know how simple it's going to be to hire a maid to do all that you used to do? You think that you have all this power and pull all the influence over me, but you don't. I was always doing more for you than the other way around.
Okay then, fine. If that's really how you want to do things, then I'll leave, just like you said. We are going to get a divorce, and that is that. Hey there, you old hag. I just wanted you to know that I heard from my dad that you're finally going to be leaving. That's right. I'm going to start packing today and leave this house as soon as I can. Man, I knew you were useless, but I didn't expect things to escalate so quickly. It's pretty funny when you think about it. But it really is just so sad that you're getting chased out of this house by your own husband. Serves you right, though. I really don't think that any of this is sad at all. In fact, I'm glad to finally be leaving the two of you. You have never once shown me the respect that you should be showing your mother. Both you and your father have treated me like nothing more than some kind of maid who works for you. That shouldn't be how you treat a family. Well, you see, the thing is that we were never ever family to begin with. I mean, we're not even blood related. So how could you ever be my mother? I have been married to your father for 10 years now, and you two have never ever treated me like a family. I just told you. That's because you're not family. You're just a sad little maid who came to live with us for a while. But you weren't even good at being that, either. You could barely do your job right, and that's why I was always getting so upset with you. But at least now you're finally going to be leaving us for good. We don't need some useless housewife hanging around here. You're nothing but a parasite just feeding off of my dad. How dare you talk to me this way? Someone really ought to teach you a lesson. Well, it's not going to be you since you're getting kicked out of the house right now. So how about you just pack up your things and get out already? Oh, don't worry. That is exactly what I plan to do. I plan on packing up my things and never ever coming back here again. Well, good. That works out just fine for me, because I never ever want to see you again either. So there. I'm already so happy thinking of coming back to the house without you there. Well, don't worry. It won't be much longer now before me and all of my things are gone from this house. In fact, if I do happen to run into you after this, I'll treat you like a complete stranger that I've never even met. And I expect the same from you. Oh, of course. I mean, why would I want to do anything with a useless old lady that my dad doesn't even want in the house anymore? You're nothing to me and you never were anything. Well, perfect. I'm so happy that you said that, because this is going to make a great column for my magazine. Wait, what? What do you mean by that? I don't understand. Anyways, I have a lot of business to take care of, so I can't really waste my time anymore with you. You and your dad have a nice life without me in it. Hold on just a second. What do you mean your magazine? Where did that come from? I never heard about that before. Well, I don't really see why it's any of your business since we don't even know each other. Hey, Alexa, what the heck is going on here, huh? Did you seriously write about my dad and I in your magazine? Since when did you even work as a writer for a magazine? Wow, I suppose that I really shouldn't have expected anything less from a high school girl. It seems you follow magazines and online news and gossip and the like quite closely, don't you? But I thought that you and I were never going to talk to each other again if we could help it. Shut up and answer my questions. I want an explanation for what's going on, and I want one right now. I mean, I just saw that article on the front cover of one of the most popular magazines at this cafe. Not only that, but flipping through the magazine, it said that you were the one that published your own article as an open edition. Yeah, I mean, you basically just described the whole situation. And I think I know the cafe you're talking about since I'm close friends with the owner after writing a great review of the cafe. But I don't get it. This still doesn't make any sense to me at all. I I thought that you were just a housewife. What's going on here? Well, as a housewife, I needed a place to get away from it all, and I found myself becoming a regular at the cafe. For instance, when you would kick me out when your friends were over, I would go to that cafe and spend hours there. And eventually became friends with the owner. In fact, he even asked if I wanted to take over his shop. But wait, this doesn't make any sense at all. Why in the world would he offer it to you? I guess he would do so because I'm not the useless housewife that you think I am. But I don't understand. You're the owner of a magazine, and now you're going to be taking over the cafe? You are talking about the cooking magazine, yes. I thought that the owner just recognized me and thought that I would be a good successor. After all, you most know that I'm a Michelin-starred chef, right? Hold on, what? What are you talking about? If that's true, then why did you feed my friends and I that horrible food? I'm sorry you thought it was horrible, but the general eating public seems to love it. Maybe you just have bad taste. But then, you must have a lot of money, right? I do okay for myself, thank you very much. But if you have that much money, then you have to tell my dad. I'm sure that he'll take you back if he knows that you're rich. 2 things. 1, I don't want anything to do with you or your father ever again. I have no reason to go back to him or you after the terrible way that you treated me. 2, your father was the one who told me that he never wanted me to work. I was able to work on my magazine in private, but I'm not about to beg for him to take me back and start new work running a cafe. But you can't just leave us. We had no idea that you had so much money. Here's a little tip from one former so-called parasite to another. If you want to try and have someone in your life for their money, you probably shouldn't just tell them to their faces. But I'm sure that I can talk to my dad and convince him to let you work if you want to. Please, we'll do more work around the house if you just come back to us. We really had no idea who you were. Well, that really isn't my problem in the slightest. You two acted the way that you did towards me and finally pushed me out of the house with your horrible attitudes. I told you that I never wanted anything to do with you or your father ever again, and I said that I didn't ever want you to speak to me again. So I really don't understand what you think you're going to accomplish by begging for me to come back when you've already made it clear that you're only doing so because you now know that I have money. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a life to get back to. After that, I started getting texts from Tom begging for me to take him back as well, but I just ignored them. Thankfully, we were already divorced and I was able to make sure he had no part in my life moving forward. Meanwhile, I finalized my purchase on the cafe and began running it part-time while I also continued publishing my food magazine. Learning how to run a restaurant is really hard work, so I was glad for that. I could really rely on my magazine stuff again, the same way that I did when I was married to Tom. As for Lisa and Tom, they continued to bug me, trying to find ways to worm themselves back into my life. But I really wasn't having any of it at all. I finally got to the point where I just blocked them on every medium imaginable. I did my best to cut them entirely out of my life, so that I wouldn't even have to hear the updates about what was going on in their lives.